CardGamesTV1 episode 19. Soul Striker leader and Archetypes. So I'm just, watching some videos and seeing some people talk about Soul Striker, possibility of it getting banned, among other things, as well as, Archetypes. And one of the videos I saw was they mentioned the idea that somebody stated Blue has a lot of good Blue leaders, but then somebody responded with, yeah, because they have good archetypes. So within the blue color, there's good archetypes. Not saying that statement is false per se. It's the fact that most people lean towards generic good stuff, especially nowadays. This game is over 3 years old. The idea of just playing archetypes and theme decks and pre-built strategies which have inherent weaknesses deliberately built in it to make it balanced and fair. And any true competitive player doesn't want their deck to be balanced and fair. They want the deck to be unfair, unbalanced. They want the strongest, most OP deck. This is where you get the concept of meta decks. The idea of meta decks is supposed to be the perceived idea is that it's the best deck in the game, right? The best deck in the format at the time. When in reality, what it is, and I see this in a lot of card games that I play, is that it's not the best deck in the format or the best deck, period. It's the easiest deck to play. And that's what makes it popular. It's a popular deck, right? It's easy to play. And if it's easy to play, then it should be easy to win. That's the real mindset. And this is where it leads to net decking, right? So back to the whole leader thing, the idea of that annoyed me was the idea of the person stated Blue has good leaders other than Soul Striker, right? But then, the person wanted to respond with the fact is it's the archetype. Essentially trying to say that archetypes in Blue is what makes the Blue leaders good. It's like, no. The person stated leaders. As in, yes, there are Blue leaders that are good generically. As in, you can use them however way you want. They're not specific, whereas you got to use the cards that comes, quote unquote, within the archetype. No. Soul Striker is generic, and so are many other Blue leaders. For example, Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, the one that ramps, that's generic. Super Saiyan 3 Goku, the original and the reborn, version, also generically good. I'm not saying generically good as in you can splash different colors, but I mean generically good as in it's good for Blue. Now, can you mix other colors? Of course you could. But I'm saying just for mono Blue, just within the color Blue, there's tons of great Blue leaders that have a lot of unique options. There's a Vegito that on the Awakened side turns your Unison into a finisher, which reminds me I gotta make a deck profile about that, because obviously that's the new game plan right there, right? Unison finishers. But anyway, the point is that there's tons of good Blue leaders. It's just that a lot of players, since they want to focus the main deck, which is, blue cards.deck, right? Good blue cards, they go to Soul Striker because of its ability to untap energy. And that's it. If you take away the ability to untap energy on Soul Striker is not the best Blue leader. There's tons of leaders that are way better than Soul Striker if you take away the untap. The untap is the only thing that makes it good. Take that away, it's generic leader. It ain't special. There's tons of leaders out there that's just like Soul Striker. The only thing is they don't untap energy. That's the only difference. And you also have to remember, there's a lot of leaders that untap 2 energy. But they only do it once, and that's when they awaken. Soul Striker, ironically, after it awakens, it untaps 2 energies. And it keeps untapping. That's the only thing that really makes it special, is that it keeps untapping 2 energies. But there are a lot of Blue leaders that untap 2 energies. So if you really need the ability to untap 2 energies to go off and on your turn and combo and beat your opponent, any blue leader is on par with Soul Striker. The only difference is Soul Striker is just continuous. You just can keep doing it. That's the only difference. You can just keep untapping. And of course, on the front side, you can either draw when you swing or untap one energy. That's it. That's the only thing special. It untaps energy. Makes it where you don't have to decide between, going all in on offense and have no defense because you're tapped out, or vice versa. Don't go offense, which means you're probably not going to deal much damage or no damage at all that turn because you're trying to play defense. Instead of choosing one or the other, which requires skill and requires experience to know when is the best time to go in, when is the best time not to go, right? When is the best time to tap out, when is not the best time to tap out. Soul Striker erases that. Soul Striker makes it where it doesn't matter. Here's some training wheels. Don't worry about tapping out. Go ahead and tap out. Because once you swing the leader, you're untapping, you're good to go. And the thing about Soul Striker untap ability is that it's not during the end phase, but during your opponent's main phase, right? It's during your turn. It's an auto from just attacking. So you can make a play, swing with your leader, and then make another play. So you can afford to play twice. Pay, for 2 cards a turn when you're awakened side with your leader. That's the huge difference between this and most other leaders. In general, not just blue, in general. The ability to untap energy so you could play more. So essentially, the first card you play, you essentially was free, and then the next card is not free. There's some leaders that will let you play cards for free, like battle cards for free, and then you can tap and play cards. So those types of leaders are similar, right? But they're pretty specific. They specify what you can play. Soul Striker doesn't specify. Soul Striker is very generic. All you have to do, all you need is the energy to be mono blue. That's it. So if you're going blue, then it's not a problem, right? If you're playing a lot of blue energy, it's not a problem that you're restricted to the mono blue when it comes to the untap ability of Soul Striker. But there's a lot of other leaders that let you play side for free, so you don't have to use your energy, so you can keep your energy up for defense and just play a whole bunch of free stuff for offense, right? And then there's cards that you can play for free anyway, without a leader letting you play for free. There's a lot of free stuff you could play. Overwhelm, for example. There's some overwhelms you could play for free. You don't have to pay energy to play them. You just gotta meet their overwhelm requirement and bang, drop them for free. So the fact that we have free stuff, and we have some leaders that can let you play some stuff for free that normally would cost you energy. We have a variety of stuff that's similar to Soul Striker. A lot of people just like to go to Soul Striker because it's generic, and unless you use pretty much anything, still have the ability to keep your energy up. And that's the only thing that really makes it special is the energy untapping ability. You take that away, it's no better than any other generic leader out there that draws when you attack on the front side, and then draws when you attack on the awakened side, and maybe has an extra effect. Just think about it. If you take away the untap ability, what does Soul Striker look like? Doesn't look like the best blue leader, like a lot of people like to say or think. To me, it's a good leader, yes, but it's good because it makes it easy for, I'm gonna say, bad players to play the game. They don't have to be good. They don't have to, choose, to tap out or not. They could always tap out, and that be not a problem. It's literally an undo button, Like, for example, let's say you tap out to play something and your opponent counters, like gasoline trunks or something. You're like, damn it, you got me. You had the gasoline trunks. Stop my play. Well, that's okay. I'll swing with my leader, untap 2 energy, and either A, use the energy to make a play, like another play, or keep the energy up to defend myself. But normally, with any other deck, any other leaders to say, right, you wouldn't have that condition unless you have the ability to awaken. Then you can, which is why it's always good to save your awaken effect for the right time. But Soul Striker makes it where you don't have to wait for the right time to awaken. Right? The whole untapping 2 energy comes from the fact that you did awaken. So you can just hurry up and awaken and just start untapping 2 energies every turn. This makes the game skillless for whoever uses the leader. And remember, it's the leader. It's not the deck, it's the leader. So imagine if you ban the leader. all the cards that is typically used in the Soul Striker can easily be used with any other, and be good with any other. The only thing is that you don't get the, the untap, the skillless untap, right? It doesn't require skill to declare an attack with the leader on tapped energies, right? There's no skill involved in that. That's just free advantage right there, and that's the whole point. It's not that different from paying $10 to buy something, and after you receive the item you paid for, then the person gives you back the $10 and you walk out. You still have your $10 plus the item they wanted. That's essentially what Soul Striker is. Pay to play something, and then you get a refund, right? You get some of that money back, right? Some of that energy back. That's all it is. So it's like having infinite energy. Of course, as in any resource-based game that's broken, OP. That's why we banned Xeno button, and we also banned objection, but that's because ramp more so than anything. But of course, that leads to a lot of stuff. And then we hit the original Super Saiyan 3 Goku. We brought him back. I don't, because he was more generic, they made him more, blue specific. But I always play blue anyway, so it doesn't feel like they errated. It doesn't feel like they nerfed them. It feels like they buffed them because I play blue. But if you play red, green, or any other color, yeah, Super Saiyan 3 Goku obviously was nerfed. But that just proves the point of how powerful the ability to untap energy, and a lot of it at that, and to do it consecutively. Like if it did it once, like if it was a once per game type of effect, then it would be strong, it'd be useful, it'd be interesting, right? Because if you use it right, you get some spam out of it. But the problem is that you don't have to use it right. You just have to keep using it. Again, you don't need skill to keep attacking with the leader and keep untapping energy. That's not a skillful thing. But if you make it where it's a once per turn, once per game, where you attack and you get to untap 2 energy, even if you make it on the front side once per game, you can untap 1 energy when you attack, or just that part. Obviously, you could just draw just for attacking. So you either attack or you choose to once per turn. Once per game, tap an energy. But the point is that what makes Soul Striker strong is the continuous energy untapping. If it only untapped energy once, it will be good, yes, but it won't be as broken as it is. The thing is not many people are referring to the card as being broken. Some people even try to argue against me pointing out that Soul Striker is for players that are not really good at managing the resources. Players that know how to save some energy for the right time, turns, and this and that. For those types of players where it's like, nah, I'd just rather tap out every turn to play something and then swing with the leader, untap, so that way I can defend, so that way I can hit and run basically. Offense, defense. Why everybody else who plays other leaders that don't have that ability, they gotta choose between tapping out or not tapping out. There's no, I could just swing with my leader, now I can untap. No, they have to time their awaken if they have a leader that untaps energy when they awaken, so they have to time it. So almost every leader that has the ability to untap energy is similar to Soul Striker. It's just not actually Soul Striker, right? It's not actually, you just untap every turn. And typically when you untap energy, you might do it on your opponent's turn just to try to use it defensively. The thing is with untapping energy when you awaken on your opponent's turn, for example, is you gotta wait until battle happens. So you can't just awaken on your opponent's main phase, untap some energy, and then have those energy to play negates and stuff like that. Right? With Soul Striker you can, because Soul Striker you untap the 2 energy on your turn, then you end your turn. So now on your opponent's turn you have 2 energy up to use. You know what I mean? So big difference on how Soul Striker works when it comes to untap energy and how other leaders that untap energy when they awaken works. Big difference. So, and then of course, you could awaken on your turn, right, doing your main phase, untap 2 energy, so you can kind of get a Soul Striker-like ability. right? Before you even attack with the leader, right? So you kind of get a pseudo Soul Striker when you do that, but still, it's not actually Soul Striker. Soul Striker obviously gets better when it comes to reusing your resources, right? Which is why it's busted. If it was a once per game thing that you could, you could initiate for a, so you can use it strategically, then that makes sense, because then you're making sure that there's skill involved, that the ability to untap 2 energy is used, sparingly. It's used right at the right moment where it can make a difference, or you could be fail and use it wrong. The fact that you could use it wrong should exist. That factor should exist. There should be such thing that you could make a mistake. You could play something wrong, which has to do with your skill level. If your skill level is high, you will use it right. But if your skill level is low, you might use it wrong, or you will use it wrong. That should be a factor. That should be a thing that happens. It shouldn't be, oh, damn it, I tapped out. That's not good. Oh, wait, I can just attack my leader. Now I can untap. Yay, I'm safe. That shouldn't be the case. Shouldn't be an undo button. But anyway, the thing is that now players are getting away from archetypes, which is good. There's many reasons for getting away from archetypes, because archetypes inherently have weaknesses, and they tend to have more weaknesses than if you created something generic, because if you created a deck yourself, right, from scratch, you would try to make sure that the deck has less weaknesses, it has more strength, right, or attack power, more combo power, for example, right, might incorporate more battle card hate, or unison hate, or you just make the deck a lot stronger than if Bandai was to create it. Because if Bandai creates it, they'll try to make it balanced. They'll try to make the deck cool and strong, but not too strong that, it's like, oh my god, this deck is OP. There's no need to play anything. Like, they won't deliberately make a tier 0 archetype, that's what I'm trying to say, right? Or even a tier 1 archetype, right? Now, technically, you might say some archetypes are tier 1 when you compare them to the other archetypes that come out in the same set. What I'm talking about is, like, in general, when it comes to the game, it'd be rare for a archetype to be tier 1 inherently, generically in the game. So, like I said, they don't really play archetypes like that. Or they don't make archetypes that strong and OP. They could make a leader that is used a lot to a point where it's like, okay, we gotta hit the leader to stand third. Like how they hit the original Mecha Frieza, how they hit the original Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Let's see what else they hit. Cell Surge, obviously that's the most recent hit. So, yeah. Ironically, I played all 3 leaders. Kind of a little suspect that they got hit. But anyway, hopefully we get a new Cell, green yellow Cell leader. Obviously, they can't remake Cell Surge, because then we'll just read right back to the Cell Surge meta, right? Something like, I don't know. Doesn't bother me. Because you should always be prepared for everything and anything, including hand destruction. That's why it's good to have a leader that draws cards. And have unisons to draw cards, and battle cards that draw cards. If you like to play super combos, then super combos that draw cards, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. I want those types of things because they benefit you and make sure that you don't end up in a bad situation where you don't have hands to play, or at least play more cards that work in the drop area. So that way, if you do end up losing cards because of hand destruction effects, it wouldn't be that big a deal because you can still use them from the drop. Also play a lot cheaper cards that cost like 1 or 2 energies, so that you can use up your hand faster than your opponent can rip them out your hands. Because the only devastating thing about hand destruction is you have cards in your hands you want to use, you need to use, but they get ripped out of your hand before you get to use them. That's a problem. But if you're playing cards faster than your opponent can try to rip them out in your hand, then it's not that big of a deal. And if you can replenish your hand just as quickly, also makes up for that. But anyway, like I said, players are trying to get away from archetypes because archetypes have weaknesses. Easier side deck against an archetype than a generic or unique deck that you made yourself to avoid. You know, because you will obviously put cards that hurt other decks, like they're anti-meta, and but also are hard to side against because they might be so unique that there might not be a card or an effect that can deal with those cards, and you'll take full advantage of that. Like, for example, if there's a field card that gives you a really strong advantage, there ain't that many cards that can get rid of it. Not many players are playing cards that get rid of field cards, so that right there would give you an advantage in that regards. That's the end of the podcast.